Yeah. Getting on a while. Back now. My voice is all fucked up for some reason. Hey, folks. Welcome to the Jake and Jon Show, world's greatest podcast. I am your host, John, always here, and with me is the other host, Jake.
Hey, what's up? Happy New Year's.
Yes, Happy New Year's. Someone corrected me and said it's Happy New Year. So
yeah, that probably makes a lot more sense.
Yes, but we've been on a bit of a hiatus. I think it's been probably 3 weeks since we've done a podcast. We have two that we haven't released.
Yeah, two in the bag there. It's been kind of a chaotic end of the year, so we're a little behind on some of the stuff we wanted to do, but we're picking it back up.
Yeah, the holidays are tough, man. It's trying to visit everybody and buy presents and put up Christmas lights and all that shit. Like, when I put up the Christmas lights, dude, it took me like 5 hours probably to get up on the roof, and I bought the clips, and I think we counted them, so it was 300 lights. So that's 300 clips you got to put on the shingles. And I mean, it's not that it's a difficult task, but it's tedious and it's not fun at all. And I wasn't necessarily in the Christmas spirit as I was putting them up there. I was for like the first 20 minutes, but I had to keep squatting down, and like my calves and my quads were burning, and shit wasn't going right, or I dropped something off the roof and have to climb down and get it. I was like, motherfucker, how did fucking Clark Griswold do this with all those lights?
Yeah, I didn't do that much lighting this year. I did some, some of the inflatable yard stuff and the Christmas trees that go in the yard, some of that. But really on the house, didn't do anything this year, much to the dismay of my kids. So I'm going to have to up my game next year a little bit.
Yeah, I want to do the, it's like a little light, and I think it has a stake that it goes into the ground, and then it points on your house, and it looks like fucking, I don't know, like 1,000 of those little laser pointers.
Yeah, so I actually have one of those. I bought it last year, and that motherfucker died after one season. I went and put it out this year, and won't do shit. I'm gonna try and take it apart and see if I can get it going again. But yeah, I mean, it was like $40 or something. But one thing, like the first time I saw them, they looked really cool because one of my neighbors had one. This is kind of before they got popular, like the year before last. And he had it pointed up in his trees, and I was like, "What is that?" Because it clearly wasn't just regular lights, because they were just everywhere, all up in these tall trees. But there was something going on, kind of this shimmering, and I was like, "Man, that looks really cool." But now you kind of see them everywhere, and I don't know. To me, it's kind of disappointing when people kind of do that in lieu of lights, right? And it's like get this like shitty laser pointers like on 6 houses in a row, and it's like, damn.
Yeah, I think it would be best, if everybody else around you had Christmas lights, and then you were the one unique person. Like, oh, that's cool. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
But everybody's figuring it out. They're like, fuck this. I don't have to get on the roof, and I can still have like 1,000 lights everywhere.
Yeah.
Why not?
I know there's. I saw some this year that actually have like little animations and stuff. It's not just the static one. So yeah. I expect we'll see a bunch of that shit in the next like 2 or 3 years. Probably like every house.
Yeah.
Days of like regular lights are over.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. Because I got to get up there on this coming up Saturday and take all that shit down. And it's probably going to be easier than putting it up. Getting all the wiring right, and so it looks neat and everything. But
yeah.
I'm not really looking forward to it. So I think I'm going to try to talk my lady into going the cheaper and easier route. She doesn't really like those either, because like you said, everybody puts them up and it just looks fucking cheap. It's like they're like, oh, they don't have any Christmas fucking spirit, right?
Yeah.
But I was lacking in Christmas spirit this year, but I followed through. And once I did finish the lights and I plugged them in, and it was nighttime, I was like, that really does look good.
Well, they look legit, man. Like, your lights look good. They're like evenly spaced and tight, and they're all pointing the same direction and all. I mean, it looks like a pro job. You did a good job.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know this about me, but when I was 18, I hung up Christmas lights for a season for money. But I don't know if I've told this on the podcast, but I only lasted for, I think it was like a month or something like that. And the reason why is because 2 days in a row, we were doing it on rich people's houses. This is when I was like 18, and I was with my buddy, and his dad owned the little company. His dad owns a bunch of little companies, does really well with that kind of stuff. And but we were up there on the third fucking story, and he started sliding off the roof, and his foot got stuck in the gutter, so he stopped. And I was like, holy shit, this is fucking dangerous, dude. We're making like minimum wage or whatever. And then the next day we were working on another house, man, 3-story again, and I started to slide off the roof, and I was like, fuck this, dude,
Yeah.
I mean, because I would say like my fear of heights, I guess that's what you would call it, it's probably around average. Like, I'll get on a 3-story roof, but it's not like my favorite thing to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm very wary, and I'm, constantly paying attention, and it's not that fun to be up there. So for me, it wasn't worth it. But the point of that story is that I did develop some skills and appreciation for how Christmas lights are supposed to be put up. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if there's like a book of rules on how to do it, but when it looks clean, it looks good. And like 2 houses down from us, there's this English lady that lives there. And I'm not going to disrespect her by trying to do her accent because it'll just make us cringe. But she came out and she was like, "Oh, it's a lovely," that kind of shit. And it's not too much, it's not too little. That doesn't sound English at all. But but yeah, it was cool, man. It looks good.
Well, that's fantastic. So we're in a new place today. So if you hear any difference in recording quality, it's actually like a really quiet new studio we got here. We actually have like a room dedicated to the podcast now. This is pretty awesome.
Yes, this room is 100% dedicated to the podcast. We have our normal setup that I think is in the photo on the website. And then we also have a desktop with 2 screens, and we're going to have a TV on the wall that has an extension on it, or like an arm so the TV can come out. So if we want to look shit up or watch something while we're on the podcast, but also, not to get too fruity, I guess, but I'm excited about decorating the podcast room.
Yeah, giving it it's going to have a cool feel in here. I mean, hell, it already has a cool feel. You look around, I mean, you can already see some kind of artifacts of our personalities in here, and I think it'll add to the ambiance.
Yeah, and I think there's just enough room for it to be comfortable, and we can easily maneuver and walk around. We don't have to turn sideways or anything, but like other than that, there's really no extra space. Yeah, but I kind of like that, man. It's like our little spot.
Yeah, I got a little cave here. Yeah, this is cool, and it's we've got our same comfortable table here, which I'm really happy about because I've kind of grown accustomed to these nice chairs and having a good setup here. So this is cool. I like it. Yeah,
it helps with the vibe a little bit, man. I've seen some other podcast setups, and not to talk down on anybody, but they were a little less professional, a little less comfortable. I've taken part in a couple. And it's just not the same. But whenever you take the time, you spend a little bit of money, you get it set up how you want it. It just feels better. It's more fun to do it. Yeah.
I'm excited about some of this other gear. I mean, I know we talked a little bit on here about possibly doing some video stuff and all that. I think that we now have the setup where that could possibly become a reality much more easily. So, yeah, be on the lookout for some new cool stuff here.
Yeah, it's going to be the shit, man. So I think there's a few events that have taken place since the last time we were on the podcast. And the 2 that are coming to my mind, the first one is, of course, the Ronda Rousey fight, which you watched as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was shocking. I was on the fence. I was thinking 50-50, since Holly beat her. Amanda's probably going to come in and try to evade and just stand up the whole time. And she didn't really have to evade. She just boxed her up with superior boxing. And, it was like 48 seconds, I think.
Yeah, and I know, like, by this point, I'm sure tons of people have said that, but I think it's time for Ronda. I mean, if she's going to fight, she needs to take the game back to the ground, man. Yeah. Like, that's her game. Like, standing there getting the shit beat out of you is not her game, obviously. Since she started trying to stand toe-to-toe with these people, it ain't working. I mean, that was devastating, man. I felt bad for her because that was like no contest, man. I mean, she literally did nothing. I mean, it was silly almost.
And she was, from what I've seen of her, she looked to be in the best shape of her life. But again, that's not always necessarily an indicator that you've been doing the right things in the gym as far as actually fighting. Just because you're in shape doesn't mean you can fight. So, I mean, obviously she can fight. That's not what I'm saying. But she's got I'm sitting here like I'm some kind of fucking MMA analyst and shit. But it seems pretty clear that she has to leave that camp. Her trainer, Edmund Tarvarian, I don't know how to fucking say his name. But he's been accused by many people of just basically being a scam artist and a scumbag, and that his credentials aren't really... I mean, he has credentials, but they aren't what he tries to make them out to be. And also, there's speculation her lack of training partners and variation in her training. And, a lot of people think that if she was to go to like ATT or AKA or, Jackson's or something like that and spend, at least or not just a year, but just stay there for the rest of her career, that, she can turn things around. But I mean, who knows, man? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what she does now. Like, do you come back after that? Because you have the Holly loss, and then you have the Amanda loss, and they're both pretty devastating and pretty quick. I mean, do you keep coming back? Because I mean, like that. This last loss, I mean, I would say easily cut her star power in half, right? I mean,
well, yeah,
people will watch her. I have no doubt. She still will have a draw, but it's not the same anymore. I mean, that definitely put a hit out on her like credibility and ability to come in. You know,
right? Because that's what she was selling, is that she's the greatest and best fighter of all time as far as women are concerned. And now she's been heavily exposed, so that affects her movie roles. You know, people obviously still know she's a really tough girl and she's a really great fighter, but she's not this undefeated phenomenon, you know, that they want in movies. Like,
the image has changed significantly, right, in the past year and a half. I mean, you've gone from someone who just like can't lose to someone who can't win. I mean, it's really, really has completely flipped in the past year and a half.
And they were going to do, and maybe they're still going to do it, I don't know, but they're going to do the Roadhouse movie. Remember that with Patrick Swayze?
Yeah.
Pain don't hurt. That's what he says when he's in the hospital talking to that blonde chick. But where she's going to be the cooler. She's going to be like the Patrick Swayze character. And first of all, that's a terrible idea in itself. Even if she was still the undefeated champion, it's just a terrible idea. And I don't want to see that. And I can't imagine a lot of people do. I could be wrong about that. But it just seems really cheesy. But anyway, I think what I'm trying to say is I think that might be off the table now. If that was still a thing, you know, it's a little harder to sell it now. But,
well, I think, I guess it just depends on what she wants to do with her life, too. Because, I mean, she's almost 30, I think. I know what she made, just her base pay was like $3 million off this, right? So, I mean, she's set up. I mean, if she doesn't want to do that, I wouldn't blame her at all, man. Just like go on, live your life, do your thing, you know, just... I don't know, man, because that's got to be brutal coming into those situations over and over again. I mean, I'm sure it takes a while to kind of recoup just mentally from that whole situation because it's so big, you know?
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I can sit here and talk shit about what I think she should do and all that, but I've never been in a position like that where you have tens or even hundreds of millions of eyes on you and fans and haters across the world and what that can do to your psyche. And she's not even 30 years old yet, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
so
I think it's probably a good time for her to, if nothing else, just take a break and do some other stuff, you know. There's no sense in, like, in my opinion, I wouldn't keep putting myself through that shit unless you just really feel like you need to prove something or you have to have that belt back one more time. I mean, unless that's like her core passion or something like that. I just can't see you putting yourself through that over and over and over again.
Yeah, and prior to this fight, I read that she, you know, somebody estimates that she has at least $30 million. And then after this fight, I'm pretty sure it went over 1 million pay-per-view buys, which is excellent. Not to mention her $3 million base pay, and then any type of bonus that Dana may have given her, you know, the locker room bonus or whatever. So she has money, you know what I mean? And she doesn't need to come back and fight, but who knows? I mean, if she came back, I would watch. I would be interested.
Yeah. It just depends on what drives her. I'm guessing it'll be a few months before she like makes any kind of call on what happens again, or if she continues to go forward. Because I mean, you think about that, she obviously did physically she was in great condition, so she obviously was working really, really hard, like going into that, all for it to be over in like whatever it was, less than a minute. So
yeah, that's fucking brutal, man. You spend all this time prepping, dude, and then just bam, it's over. Like,
I know when I was watching that fight, I was just like, fuck, oh no, you know, just the whole time it was just so brutal to watch.
Yeah, I like to see a dominant champion get defeated just because it's like, can someone actually do it, you know? And but in this fight, obviously, it didn't feel quite the same as whenever she fought Holly Holm.
And you know, like Amanda Nunes, like she's clearly a great fighter, but I don't like her. I don't know what it is about her.
It's the personality.
I don't like her personality. Yeah, she's just, I don't know. To me, that's just like not that cool, you know? Some people can get away with doing like the corny shit, like the whole, what was she had like the lion head mask and all that shit on. Like some people can do that and it's funny, haha, but like I just don't get that off her, and for some reason it just doesn't do anything for me at all. So. Yeah,
I know exactly what you're saying, because for me, like when Conor first came on the scene, everything he did, I was like, that guy's funny. That guy has something extra. He's not just like a prelims fighter, you know?
Yeah,
he's that guy has something to him. His personality, and a lot of it too is the way that people can speak publicly. Like you can tell when someone speaks very fluidly and they have a lot of confidence and they have a good vocabulary and they're just great communicators. Those are the people who are more likely to rise to the top. Whereas, like for example, Cody Garbrandt, he's not good at shit talking. Like when him and Dominic Cruz were going back and forth and all that, Dominic Cruz was just destroying him. But whenever they fought, Cody Garbrandt beat the fucking shit out of him.
Yeah, and I think you can succeed either way, I think, just depending on the personality, right?
Yeah.
Because like you think of somebody like Rumble Johnson, like I think he can be a huge star because of the stuff he does, but at the same time, he's not like he's not that kind of dude, you know. Like you don't get that kind of feel of like he's not a dick, you know.
Yeah, he's likable though, and he's very.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like I think you can win with that strategy too of just being a likable person, you know, rather than just. I don't know. Some of those guys just try too hard. I mean, obviously that stuff is like almost all promotion, right? I mean, and it's just some people make it entertaining, and some people just make it. You know, my cringe muscle just twitch, dude. It's
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Like, there's been some funny moments. I think the fighter's name is Paul Buenatello. He no longer fights for the UFC, as far as I know. I don't think he has in a while. But when he was doing his, I think he just won his fight, and Joe Rogan was doing the interview with him in the octagon. And he had some kind of catchphrase. Man, I can't remember what it was, but it was something like along the lines of, you remember Cobra with Patrick Swayze, where he's like, "You're the disease and I'm the cure."
Yeah,
like it was like that shit, like where he says something and then the crowd is supposed to know the rest of it and then all say it in unison. Mm-hmm. But he just said it, and like it was like crickets in the arena, and then he had to finish it, you know. And like Joe's looking at him like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" You know? And it was just corny. It's
like some WWE type,
Yeah, which it's funny. Like, if you can pull it off, like if you're Chael Sonnen or somebody like that, or Josh Barnett, and you can pull it off, then it's hilarious. It's great, you know? But there's just some guys, they just don't have that thing, that that connection with the crowd. They haven't put in the work, or they just don't have it, whatever the deal is.
Yeah.
And he definitely did not have it in that moment.
You know, one of the... this just came to mind, and it really has nothing to do with that in particular, but another person that I don't care for, like, as they come in, is the, what's that dude's name? The Soldier of God, or whatever.
Yoel Romero.
Yeah, like, something about that dude I don't like either. Like, I'm like, itching for somebody to beat him down. Like, it would make me happy. Like, with all, like, cheaty kind of shit he does and all that.
Yeah.
None of that and that, like, cunty walk he does with his little, like, salutes and all that.
Yeah.
You know? It's like that type of dude. He's obviously a great fighter, but he doesn't have it. He just looks like an asshole. You know what I mean?
I don't know if it's I would like to think that maybe it's just a bit of a culture and language barrier.
I don't know,
but I don't think that's what it is really, because Anderson Silva was able to cross over, and his English has never been that great, at least in the public. But he's, whenever him and Michael Bisping were talking shit after he won that fight, you know, Bisping was up in the stands and like flicking him off.
Yeah,
yeah. Like, "I love you," like how, you know, that he has like that voice, like that old grandpa voice.
Yeah,
and but he can fight his ass off, man. And he hit Chris Weidman with that brutal knee, dude.
Yeah,
he like straight up. I thought he cracked his skull.
Yeah, that looked nasty.
Yeah, and I saw a picture of Chris Weidman, and I read some of the comments on it. This was, you know, like a month after the fight, maybe not that long. But they were like, "Look at his eye, man. It's like crooked." And what they're saying is, after that fight, that his eyes are no longer like a regular person, where it's just they go together. Like one of them is kind of off to the side. What is that called?
Like a lazy eye type of deal.
Yeah,
but I'm sure there's a better name for it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying that that it looks like he has a lazy eye. He may not. I don't know. But I do know that he got that really bad beating from what's his name? He was the champion. Luke Rockhold, and he took that beating, and then he got that knee from Yoel Romero. And when you take punishment like that, man, it's not before long you can't take that shit anymore. Yeah. You know, especially at those weight classes because that Yoel Romero dude, man, if he beat up a regular person, they might die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that guy is just like an animal, man. He looks like he's on roids, honestly. And I think that he did get popped for something like minor, so it makes you wonder, especially since he's like 39 years old or some shit.
Well, some of these dudes, just the way they look. I mean, I get it. There's genetic anomalies and stuff, but some of those, I'm not so sure they're getting away with that. Just like on their own accord, there, like something seems a little fucky there. I don't know what, but
yeah, because that's the thing is there's even professional bodybuilders, and for them to look like Yoel Romero, it's not just. I mean, it takes so much effort with a diet and training, and these are guys with great genetics and. and even some of them can barely look like Yoel Romero. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about like the championship Mr. Olympia guys, but guys who've been lifting weights straight for 10 years with perfect diets and shit. You know what I mean? So it just makes you wonder. Maybe he does just have literally 1 in a million or 1 in 100 million genetics. It is possible.
Yeah.
But I mean, and he is, an Olympic wrestler and all that and a badass. So I don't know, man.
Yeah. Well, I know we wanted to talk. What else has happened since we last podcasted? I know there's some things in the news today that are a little bit troubling.
The white disabled teenager that was kidnapped by 4 teenagers in Chicago.
Yeah,
and that was they got found yesterday because the girl, whatever I think her Facebook name is like Carrie or Brittany Herring, but that's not her real name, I don't think. But anyway. Somebody reported it while she was doing Facebook Live, and the police came and they got him. And that kid, I guess he had been kidnapped on Monday. That's when he was reported missing.
Yeah.
And I guess they had him the whole time. I don't know all the details yet.
Well, I read the article today, and I'm going to fuck up some of the details certainly. But so they were saying, like his parents, the kid who got kidnapped, his parents had dropped him off, I think at like McDonald's or something like that. And he was going to go with some friends and stay with them for the night or something like that. Well, I guess that he was an acquaintance, at least, of one of these kidnappers. And what happened was, whoever that was, one of those kidnappers or whatever, had stolen a van, and that's what they picked him up in. And I guess they went around some places and spent the night in the van for a night or two or whatever it was. And then they took him back to this apartment, and that's where all the crazy shit went down. And the way I read it is, the kid said that he'd gotten into a play fight with one of the dudes. I don't know exactly what that means when you're 18 or 19 years old or whatever.
And
but
mentally disabled.
Right. Said he got into a play fight with him, and then the girls started getting mad at him or something. And then this somehow, there's not a lot of detail yet, but somehow this escalated to the point of him being like bound up and cut with a knife and forced to drink toilet water and like all these things on Facebook Live. And that's sick, dude. Think about that. That like that someone thought that was cool to put on Facebook Live. I mean, fortunately they did because it helped find the dude, I think, eventually. But what mentality do you have to like be torturing some dude and live broadcasting it?
Yeah, and then they not only did one of the suspects or whatever you want to call him, he said, like, fuck Donald Trump, fuck white people. But they made that guy say that too. The guy that was kidnapped, they made him say, fuck Donald Trump and fuck white people and all that. But one of the craziest things about this, and I guess it's not that crazy or unexpected in this day and age, is that the media and the police chief as well were trying to basically say that it wasn't a hate crime. And Don Lemon, that's his name, right, on CNN?
Yeah.
I actually saw that live because I was watching CNN as he said it. I don't remember the exact quote, but he basically said, I don't think this is an act of evil. This is, like teenagers being teenagers. And it's like, dude, if that's not evil, what is evil to you?
Yeah. It's really strange that when you have this scenario, the way that it's treated in comparison. So had it been, people of opposite races and this had gone down, it's really strange the way that it's treated, and it's really unfair, and it's unfair to that kid and to his family that things aren't. You can't just call something what it is. You know what I mean? Like you can clearly say that there was some racism going on there. I mean, based off of what those people said,
for sure.
I mean, you can certainly say that it was evil based off of who the hell does that to another human being. I mean, so it's just weird that there's this cover up, and there's this. And I didn't read all the details, but I guess the White House, came out and they're like, well, we don't want to jump to conclusions calling it a hate crime and all that. It's like, what? First of all, why are you commenting on it to begin with? And then second of all, just like taking the wind out of the sails of it. That's bullshit. It's time to, this is why Donald Trump won. That's all I can say. Like if love him or hate him, if you don't get this shit, this is why Donald Trump won, is because no one can just say the truth. Just say what things are, even if it's not pretty.
I know, man. I think that over the next year, I don't see liberal extremism having the influence that it once did. I think that people are just kind of getting fed up and they're just getting bored with it. And when someone's being so irrational that every single logical, calm person around them can just tell that they're being nuts, it makes no sense. It's like, this is fucking retarded. Like, this is a shitty fucking movie or something. Like, what is this?
Yeah, it's insane to. I don't know. I used to get a lot more angry when I would hear these types of things. Now I'm just getting to the point where it's just like, what the hell, man? Are we still in a period where we can't talk about things like, because I think people are coming around. There's a lot of stupid fucks out there though, man. Like, there's a lot of stupid people. So I'm not sure how long it will take. And if we can ever get to a point where we can just like, can you imagine just how much easier things would be if people talked about things in the context of what they were? I mean, think about our politics. You think about the way our society runs. I mean, if we could just be intellectually honest about these simple things, like how different it would be. Because I mean, I'm sure we've beaten this horse to death, but you can never solve a problem if you don't know what the problem is, and if you can't honestly say what it is. And we're so like far removed from that, or not, I say we, and maybe this is really less the general population and more just the media, because you have all these like extremist bozos in the media. So I just don't see how long that can sustain though before you either lose your country entirely because everybody's so like fucked up they can't like maintain a social order, or people finally just give up on it and be like, we're just not listening to you anymore. And I do see that happening a little bit, but I'm not sure where we're at, like where the needle is on the gauge as far as the country's concerned.
Yeah, there's a real problem when a person that's elected as a leader is not allowed to be a leader, because everybody has an opinion that they have to respect or listen to or jump around on. They can't just straight up be a leader. And I'm not saying that you should be like Kim Jong Un or whatever the dude's name is that his name? The new North Korea guy, Kim Jong Un. He's the son. Is it Il?
Yeah. Kim I don't know.
That dude looks like the biggest pussy I've ever seen, dude. Like, straight up, like, just take his lunch money and like spit in his hair. You know what I mean? Like, this guy, he looks like the biggest bitch, dude, and he has so much power. It's just insane.
It's incredible that they've been able to keep those people at bay like that. I mean, but I guess if you control literally all information, that's possible.
Yeah, and all.
I mean,
firearms.
That's like one of the strangest social experiments ever. Yeah. Is this ability to treat this dude like some kind of a divine being when it's just this little pudgy guy in like a women's pantsuit, you know?
Yeah. That is strange. His clothing style. I'm assuming he has some type of stylist. And but it's funny because I'm sure you've seen these pictures, and these are probably old to a lot of people. But the comparison between him and Hillary Clinton, they wear like the exact same suits. It's like that half turtleneck and like that Dr. Evil wore in what's that Austin Powers movies. It's like the same thing. I mean, how you?
It makes me wonder if there was like some kind of a focus group, and they're like, we need to find something that completely takes the idea of sex away from a person. It completely removes all of their sexuality in a simple suit, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of what it does, you know? It's just this weird, I don't know, sausage casing of a...
And that dude is
tan cloth.
He's like incredibly fat too, with zero muscle tone. They try to hide it with all those weird clothes and like roby looking things that he wears, but you can just tell by looking at him. It's like this guy's never exercised in his life, and he's like, I don't know, 5'5" maybe, and like probably 280, 300 pounds. He's fat, dude.
Well,
he's
you remember,
really big.
And the influence that they have is incredible too. Because you remember when what was that movie called that had, I think it was like Seth Rogen, The Interview. Remember that?
Oh,
it was like some stupid like half-wit comedy movie.
Yeah.
But it was about North Korea. So I don't even remember exactly what happened, but it basically got to where what was the distributor? Was it Sony or somebody? I can't remember. But
I think it was Sony.
But basically, they pulled it from the theaters because they were afraid of like terrorist attack type things and stuff. So they ended up, you had to buy it off like YouTube. I think that's how I got it because, of course I was like, well, now I got to see it, right? But and then it was like, man, this is like, not only was it like a one-time watcher, but it just wasn't that good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But somehow that was people took them seriously enough to actually change the distribution method.
Yeah, well, there was a theory, and maybe even a conspiracy theory going around that they could have easily put it in theaters, but they wanted to make it a bigger deal. So people, I got to see it.
Use it like a marketing ploy or something.
Yeah,
and that could have been too. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like it's just wildly offensive or something.
Yeah, and it is offensive to. I mean, there's no doubt that it would be offensive to them, but
right.
At the same time, though, I guess we just have like such a different culture. Like over here, you can mock and make fun of any leadership you want all day long, and you're not going to get killed for it. You're not going to. I mean, you're not even going to get reprimanded, really. I mean, so
yeah,
it's just we're used to that culture, and they have one where if something like that happens, it's just like this huge offense. I mean, you've really, really disrespected them. So.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I read something in the news the other day that they're testing some kind of new missile or its distance. I forgot. I should know these things because it seems like it's important, but I think it's like Nick Diaz would say, they're selling wolf tickets. It's like, yeah, you probably have that stuff and you're going to test it, but it's probably not that good, and also I don't think you're actually going to use it. If I thought you were, I think you guys would have done it by now.
Well, and the thing is like, when you start talking about like the size of the piece of land they have is, you know what I mean? Like they're not going to do that. They're
right.
You're not going to send a long range missile, and if you do, that one better be catastrophic. Because if not, I mean, we could literally level that country, completely level that country in minutes. Yeah. So it's just just strategically, it doesn't make any sense. I don't see that happening.
I know, man, but he has the most punchable face. I mean, I've seen more punchable faces, but he's up there.
He is.
He's top 10, dude, easily.
He's easily in the mold. It's just
yeah.
And that guy's the leader. Think about that. He's the supreme leader, or whatever they call him.
Yeah. He's like a bully's dream. Like you walk by him in the hallway and he's wearing his pantsuit and it's like ninth grade. You just throw him into the locker.
What would the equivalent of that be in the United States? Like who's somebody in the U.S. where like would be a comparable leader?
Oh man, Hillary Clinton maybe.
Nah, well, yeah. I mean, definitely stylistically, but like somebody that's
very
just
similar.
Somebody you just can't stand. Like,
let's see, like Al Sharpton.
Yeah, I don't know. Even him, he's more respectable.
It's funny, yeah. It's something you don't say often.
Yeah. I'll probably never say that again. Yeah, I can't even think of like an equivalent person at the moment that's like that. Yeah. That's just somebody like you just want to hit because they exist.
I was gonna say the what is it, the Baptist church guy, like the extremist people that protest soldiers' graves and all that. What do they call them? The Bureau Baptist Church or something.
Westboro.
Yeah, Bureau. But yeah, like that guy, the leader, I think he might have passed away from a heart attack or something. I'm not sure. But even still, even him, he's a terrible human being, obviously. But he still isn't as punchable as that guy,
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying really hard. I'm going through my database right now of punchable faces, and I'm not picking one out that I think is more punchable than that. And that's tough, man.
That's that's a tough position to be in if you're that punchable.
Yeah. Oh, man, I guess it's off topic, but who cares? You know that show Celebrity Apprentice?
Yeah.
And now Arnold Schwarzenegger is the host?
Yeah, I just heard that. I don't know that I've ever seen it. Yeah, I guess I have seen parts of it, but...
Yeah, I had never seen it before, but Chael Sonnen, the MMA fighter, who's an awesome person and awesome fighter too, he's hilarious. He's on that show. And so
as a contestant?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was like, cool, man, I want to watch this. And I think the first maybe they're all 2 hours, but at least the first episode was 2 hours long, and I made it like an hour and 20 minutes, and I was struggling, dude, because first of all, Chael didn't get much talk time at all. Because I think that the producers, obviously, they choose, in a sense, who is going to get the most airtime that they think is going to cross over the best and entertain people, right?
Yeah.
So the host of American Ninja Warrior and John Lovitz, who's hilarious. I mean, I'm glad he got a lot of airtime. And Boy George, they seem to get the most. And they were all good, I guess, for that type of show. But when the women came on and they were planning out their strategy to sell their product, it was like Tyra Banks makeup or something like that. it was just, I could barely watch it, dude. I don't know if it's just because I'm a man and I like to consider myself at least a little bit of a manly man, and to listen to all them just cackling and talking over each other and these terrible ideas and just horrible jokes. I was like just cringing in my recliner, like I can't take this, but I gotta wait, man. I gotta hold out. I'm hoping for Chael, like I'm rooting for him. I want him to come in there and like make a statement, like I'm funnier than all you, you know what I mean? But they just didn't give him that much airtime, and I couldn't. Maybe they did after I turned it off, dude. But like I said, after an hour and 20 minutes, I just couldn't handle it anymore.
Well, I've heard Penn Jillette was on that thing, and he's talked about it like openly on his podcast and stuff like that, and said that it's basically it's all bullshit. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing, anyway. So I just can't get into that kind of stuff. And not only that, but somebody at work told me this. I don't know if this is true or not. That Arnold Schwarzenegger. So Donald Trump always said you're fired or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They say that what Arnold Schwarzenegger says is you're terminated. Get to the chopper, and they have a fucking helicopter on the top of the building or something that you like. Yeah. They send them off in. I'm like,
I saw what happened, dude. I saw
no.
Yeah, there was this blonde girl, and in my opinion, if I was rating them on people I would actually want to work with, and I think would probably get stuff done correctly, I would have chosen her, and she was the first one to get kicked off. Because it was like between her and Snooki. You know Snooki?
Oh, Jesus.
From, what's that show? Jersey Shore?
Jersey Shore.
Yeah, first of all, she doesn't even look like she used to. She looks like she's like Puerto Rican or something now. I like she doesn't even look like she's Italian anymore. I don't even.
She isn't. She's from Chile.
She is?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that shows how much I know. I thought she was Italian. So, okay.
I don't know why I know that, but I do. Yeah.
Yeah. And but she was terrible. Stupid ideas, zero articulation when she was talking to Arnold. And I was like, how dare you disrespect Arnold with your stupidity? Like, why do you, of all people, get to be on this show in front of Arnold? Just like, ugh.
I don't know, dude. I can't do reality shows, dude. Like, I've watched some, and I just can't do it anymore, man. I feel like guilty for wasting my life when I watch that shit nowadays. Like, I just can't do it. Like, I could watch something like I could watch Mythbusters, even though it's not really a reality. I mean, it kind of is, but not in that same hokey.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to get shit done. Like you ever notice that like they had the formula for like I kind of liked to watch American and Chopper a long time ago, really for the bikes. I kind of got tired of the drama and all that, but. It's always the same thing. They're like, oh, we've only got 4 days and we've got a deadline and all this. It's like, get the fuck out of here. No, you don't. Yeah. It's not. If you think about the way any business runs, you don't have like some weird deadline for everything that's every day. I don't know.
Like, how could anybody live with that stress? You'd have a heart attack after a couple of years.
I don't know, man. Yeah. That whole formula just wears me down. And not only that, it's because that's what every show is now. Like, you can't even watch Discovery Channel anymore. Now it's just all crap. There's not, everything that made it awesome is almost gone. Now it's like what is it? And I'm gonna mess it. What's the one where they hunt alligators? Even though that one is kind of funny a little bit, but
Swamp People.
Yeah, it's just. I don't know, man. I don't even got anything to say. It's just. Yeah. I don't know. It's just the dumbing down, dude.
Yeah, Swamp People though. It's worth watching at least one episode.
I've watched. To be honest, in interest of transparency, I've watched several episodes of that, and I have enjoyed some of it. But the thing is like, I think it's okay in like a small dose, but it's just like, it's almost literally every show now has that same stupid format, and it's just not that interesting anymore. It's like, okay, we got it. Everybody's got a deadline and all this. I'd much rather see like a 3-hour documentary on hunting crocodiles or gators or whatever. You know what I mean? Just even if you have the same personalities in there and stuff, just seeing that, but without it being some stupid contest all the time.
Yeah, I know. I don't like that either, because it just makes it feel stressful the whole time I'm watching, even though if I know it's fake, because I've probably seen at least 10 episodes of Swamp People. I'm sure there's tons of them. But, I don't like that. It's like, we got to get these here before this and that. And but one show I did watch like 4 or 5 episodes of was, is it The Alaskans or something like that? And it's this family of these like boondock Alaskan people, like the Alaskan Brady Bunch almost. And there's some interesting characters. Have you seen that at all?
No, I've never even heard of this.
Well, that's probably not really worth talking about then, if you haven't seen it. But there's one of the sons is he's like one of those dudes, and like we've all knew this person in high school or something, that has like long hair and kind of dresses like a fancy Dracula maybe. sort of like that, and not like scary, but just like not like maybe more like
a fancy Dracula,
like an upscale sailor from the 1700s, not a pirate, maybe the captain, and but he just has that look about him.
I'm picturing like Barbossa off of like the Johnny Depp pirate movie, whatever it's called, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, I can't remember who Barbossa is, but anyway, the guy is corny, right? And he has this code about like how he treats women, and I don't disagree with it, but it's just straight up like from the 1600s or something, like you have to. Well, no, I do disagree with it because I mean, I get what he's saying. Like, there's good principles behind it.
Is it just like straight chivalry type?
Yeah, like you have to bow and you have to ask them certain questions before you date and all, just like all this stuff. And it's just corny. But he, I guess the girl like left him. No surprise there, right? And so, but he wrote this poem and he read it to his dad before he like mailed it off to her. And just when he was reading it, like there on the live TV or whatever, it was just unbearable. And I was cringing the entire time. And I wish you had seen that so you know what I'm talking about.
I'll have to go back and watch a clip because I'm really curious about this now.
But I'm pretty sure that him and his family are millionaires because it's a very popular show now. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to think of other reality shows. I think other than that, though, is maybe The Ultimate Fighter. But I never cared for like the extracurricular activities, the games that they do on there, or the trash talk. I just want to see the fights.
I watched some of The Ultimate Fighter, but yeah, I lost interest in all of that stuff. I was just like, I don't care about any of that.
There's some good fights that were on The Ultimate Fighter, but yeah, I'm just not that interested in it anymore. It's like they're like on season 20 something now. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
What shows are you watching right now? Are you watching anything?
Yeah, I've kind of switched over to like kids shows in a sense, not kids shows, but more like family shows because I have a family now, so it's like the Goldbergs and Wheel of Fortune and that kind of thing. But I am looking forward to the Game of Thrones season 7 coming out in April. Yeah, but I still have not seen a single episode of season 6. Which I need to do quickly.
Yeah, you have to get caught up.
Yeah, but I've seen so many spoilers on social media that I have a pretty good idea of what's going on, unfortunately. But, yeah, man.
We just started kind of catching up on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And that's actually a pretty damn funny show, man.
Is that on Netflix?
Yeah.
That's with Danny DeVito.
DeVito, yeah. And those, I can't remember the other comedians' names or whatever, but it's pretty good, man. It's a pretty good comedy.
I've always been kind of snobby about the shows I watch. If it's not like HBO quality, HBO quality series, and it's unfiltered, I don't really want to watch it most of the time, But Sons of Anarchy changed that for me. I know that there's a lot of bikers out there like, this shit's not legit, you know what I'm saying? But I know nothing about that world, so I don't care. I thought it was a great show. Yeah. And what else? And Modern Family. I do like Modern Family a lot.
Yeah, Modern Family. I actually haven't watched it in a while. I started watching it when it first came out and probably watched a couple of seasons. Probably not every single episode, but yeah, it was pretty funny. I know, or at least some of them were.
Yeah, I've probably seen like a good 30 or 40 episodes now. We watch it a lot, and it's actually a really funny show. And I think that, I don't know if it's just a coincidence, but that dude, Christopher Lloyd, he's like the mad scientist in Back to the Future, right?
Oh, I think that's a different Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, is it?
I looked that up one day actually to see, and I think it's actually that's a different dude.
Yeah, but it's got Ed O'Neill who from
Al Bundy.
Al Bundy from what was the name of that show?
Married with Children.
Married with Children. Yeah. Did you know that I believe he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I think. Yeah,
and he was like a good college football player too. Just interesting that you learn about people.
Yeah,
but, he's a great actor, man. That show's funny, and but my favorite characters are the two gay dudes, dude. But you told me that the one that's fat, he's not actually gay, right?
Yeah. What's his name in there? Cam or whatever? Yeah.
Dude, those dudes crack me up. That fat guy is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
He's an excellent actor.
Yeah. That's a good show, man, for like just regular TV. But I'm trying to think. I can't remember if there's any other ones that we've been watching. But there's like a bunch of them, But
I'm finally... I'm about to start Ash versus the Evil Dead. I've only seen still the first episode because they were giving it away for free.
That's on Showtime, right?
It's on Stars.
Stars,
yeah. But I just realized that on Amazon, like if you have Amazon Prime, on there you can get other stations on there. Like you can order Stars through it. I just realized you could do these things.
Wow, okay.
Because we cut cable a while back. So now I'm trying to find ways to get these channels without paying fucking cable prices again, you know? Because it's real easy to all of a sudden I have every streaming service and I'm paying as much as I was before, you know? So I'm still trying to navigate that where I can watch the shows I want to watch without having to pay for the ones I don't care about. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to probably get like that subscription to Stars and then like marathon Ash vs. Evil Dead, you know, and then just like cut it back off, you know, kind of like that type of deal.
Well, it sucks that Sling TV is so terrible.
Oh man, I want to like it so much. It's
this dude I know, he says he uses it and that he likes it, and I'm like, I don't understand how, dude, because my brother's internet is like top notch, and it was just not good quality when we were watching it.
Well, you know, to be perfectly honest, I've never watched anything on it except for the UFC prelims when we've tried to watch those.
Yeah,
and we've done that. What, 2 or 3 times now? Because each of us tried a different trial account, and every time has been consistently bad.
Yeah, it just freezes up.
It freezes up and buffers, and yeah.
And with your internet, that should be a literal impossibility. Because with that, even with my crappy little, what is that device called that I have? It's the little white AT&T thing, and it has 5 gigs of data that I can use on it, and like I'll use that
a little hotspot thing or something.
Yeah, a little hotspot thing, and I can watch YouTube on that without a problem, you know. Yeah. So if you have internet that's like 300 times faster than that, like there's no excuse for Sling. They got to like step their game.
Oh, it's absolutely Sling, because like when we were watching the prelim stuff on Fight Pass, and then we watched the actual pay-per-view on the Fight Pass app or whatever, that all works perfect. Yeah. So, I mean, there's not a glitch in there. It's definitely Sling. So, I don't know, man. Maybe they'll get their game together, because I don't know that there's a lot of services that are actually doing just what they're doing, you know, or not that I'm aware of. So, if they can get their game together, like, I mean, you've got a winning service there if they can just make it work and usable.
Yeah, and that's great about HBO now, is you don't have to get it through your cable company. You can just get it from HBO.
Yeah, that's what I have now, actually. The HBO, is it Now?
Yeah.
One of them's HBO Go and the other one's HBO Now. So I have the one now that you can get where it's like independent of having a cable contract.
Yeah, so. And really, if you're going to get one, it's HBO. If you're going to get one channel, they have the best. They have the best everything.
Yeah,
they have some stuff on there I don't like also that I think is terrible. But they usually get the best new movies, the best comedy specials, boxing matches, the series, everything. Then plus you can go back and watch cool stuff. Like I watched, I didn't quite finish it, but I think I got to halfway through season 6 of The Sopranos. I went back and watched that, and that's a great show, man. It's
Sopranos, yeah. Dude, and not to mention they've got Going Clear, the Scientology documentary, which I think is probably one of the greatest pieces of TV ever.
I don't know if I've seen that. I've seen a lot of Scientology documentaries on YouTube. And what's that girl's name? Is it Leah Remini? She was Kevin James' wife on King of Queens. Yeah, she was. I had no idea until I saw the commercial for it. Maybe it's on Sci-Fi or something, whatever the channel is. But she was a Scientologist for a while, 25 years, 20 years or something. And she was pretty high level, especially because she was a celebrity. And she ended up leaving it because she was like, you know, this is like BS, whatever. And now she has that show, and I think it's a whole series about her leaving Scientology, but also about the effect that it has on people that have also left.
Yeah.
And they tell about the darkness of it and how terrible that organization is. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah, dude. If you haven't watched Going Clear, you should absolutely watch that. It's an excellent documentary on it. And I mean, it's got a lot of clips from like L. Ron Hubbard, and it tells kind of like the progression of the church and how it was built, and like all these people's stories. And dude, it's awesome.
Well, don't they believe that they're from the planet Xenu or something? That's how we got. Damn.
Yeah, I don't know the exact doctrine, but yeah, at some point there's some kind of it's like a Star Wars type story. Like you have what is it called? Thetans, or in you or something like that, which are what do they call them in Star Wars?
It's like the Force, right?
Yeah. It's kind
of midichlorians or something.
Yeah. It's basically like that. Yeah. And then there's some shit to do with like that and volcanoes and Lord Xenu and I mean I can't remember the entire story, but yes, that is all.
Yeah, if you believe that, you're a huge asshole. Like there's no way around that. If somebody's sitting there telling me that, I'm like, dude.
Well, what's weird, and it seems like what they do is when they first bring people in, it's more like a psychology type of thing.
Yeah,
it's more like they come in and it's like a mindset thing of, you don't need these things to be happy. What you need to do is get it all out and because they put you on those weird like e-meters, the lie detector type machines or whatever, and they basically encourage them to kind of lay it all on the table to get out their feelings and all that. And then, you know, I'm sure a lot of people do feel better after they've kind of like done the full confession or whatever, you know. But then, you know, like that's how they kind of hook them, and they're like, wow, you know, I do feel better because I've been honest and I've done these things. But then they kind of slowly start pulling you into this whole weird thing, you know, because they don't bust the whole Xenu thing on you, I don't think, until you're like, you know, like thousands and thousands of dollars into this thing.
Yeah, I think it's like above rank 7 or
it's a high rank thing.
Yeah, because you have to pay for each one of those readings, right? That helps you get your rank or whatever.
Yeah, they call it it's called an audit. But and there's certainly a cost associated with it. I don't know exactly what that cost is, but it's definitely a lot. You know, there's several families and that you'll hear about and you see on Going Clear that like they put everything they had into it. I mean, like including their families. Like there's families that they've like basically given up their children and like, you know, just basically gone all in on this thing.
Yeah,
you know, giving their entire life to being a weird Xenu monk type of thing.
Well, they call people something. Whenever, like, say that if you're in it and you have a child that's in it, but your child is no longer wanting to take part in it and they're serious and they want to leave Scientology and they do, then there's a word that they use for that person, and whatever,
like a muggle or something.
Yeah, but from that point forward is that you're to have zero contact with that person ever again. And it's just crazy, man. Like, think about it. And that's what I think that is her name, Leah Remini. But that's what she was saying, is she knows that that's happened to people, you know, and it's like destroyed families.
Yeah,
and like father and son and father and daughter, and you know, and so on.
And they've done all kinds of like weird stuff as far as like if people have talked bad about the church and stuff, they'll like have them followed and kind of like PI type situations, you know, like Men in Black, like dudes standing in suits and like all kinds of weird, creepy shit. And it's all real. That's what's so weird about it. And it continues to go on. I think that like some of the wind's been taken from their sails a little bit now that like most of their documentation's gotten out, but it's still a thing, you know? I mean, there's still people that are dead serious about it. Like Tom Cruise, I think to this day is just balls deep in that thing. He's 100% all in.
Yeah, and think about how crazy he is. I mean,
he's nuts, dude. Has to be.
Yeah, any rational person can look at him and be like, dude, you've been tricked. You need to get out of there, man, because you look like a moron. Like whenever he was on Oprah and doing all that crazy shit, and just, I don't know, man. He's crazy.
Yeah, just nuts. Yeah. And they have the thing called the Sea Org, which is like their elite unit, you know? It's like basically all these people that go and like play on a ship and go out there. And L. Ron Hubbard, have you ever seen like video of him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a really strange guy with like this like spitty like lips and mouth and all. Oh god.
Yeah.
And he just like, because that's what he liked to do, was like dress up as a sailor and like play like he was like some kind of Marine or something.
Well, he was in the Navy though, when he was younger.
Or yeah, I'm sorry, he played like in the Navy, but I think, man, I wish I could remember all the details of the story right now, because I think he was either kicked out or something happened though.
Yeah.
And but yeah, he basically he wanted to keep that kind of lifestyle, like create this weird navy of people that go out on these ships and do whatever the hell they do out there, you know?
That's what's so crazy about it, is because he did acquire a massive ship, like a real ship.
Well, Scientology is one of those, like, it's another one of those grand social experiments. You can get people to believe anything, dude.
Yeah, man.
Like, all somebody needs is some charisma, and people will believe them. People will listen to them. It doesn't matter how crazy the shit they say is.
I would like to think it would be harder to do that because of the internet, and it's easier for people to get free education and facts. But that's what I'm saying. Even with that, I don't think it matters. I think if you have, if someone's feeling empty and lonely, or they're at a dead end road in their life, they're not progressing, or just those type of things. If they see somebody and they're articulating well, and there's, I don't know, just giving them a solution to all their problems, and people will just dive right into it.
I mean, I think it's all a matter of charisma is what it boils down, and the ability to and enough confidence to make it seem like you have a solution. I think those two things can make it like it's almost impossible for some people to ward it off. They're just drawn to this thing like a moth into the light. You know, I mean, they can't walk away. Did you hear that Charles Manson's in the hospital? Did you see that headline?
Yeah, I didn't read the article, but I did see the headline.
Well, really, that's all I know about that is he ended up going to the hospital. You know, he's like 80-something years old now.
Yeah.
Well, when I saw his name, I remember I'd seen an interview with him a long time on YouTube, so I pulled it back up the other day. And to listen to him talk, he's one of those people, you know what I mean, he just had like that charisma, and the people liked him. If you listen to those girls talk, the ones that, you know, did the killing and all that, that's exactly what happened is they felt like that dude had something to offer, man. He was like, you know, he had that Messiah complex or whatever, and people were just drawn to him and they trusted him, and they would do whatever he said, no matter how crazy it was.
I learned that in the military pretty quick, man. With that, I'd say like my first 2 years there is that a lot of the times your leadership, it's not that they have good leadership qualities, like real qualities. It's charisma and willing to put themselves out there and speak confidently. Like if you have somebody, as long as it's not too outrageous, just by being a really good public speaker and standing tall, and you can tell by the passion and the way that they're putting themselves out there is that they really believe in themselves and in their ideas, and also, just as importantly, they're prepared to be challenged and to respond to you. They're not afraid of that confrontation.
Right.
And just having that quality alone, it scares a lot of people off, because most people, this is a fact, they don't want to be publicly embarrassed. They don't enjoy publicly speaking. You know, they don't want to get up on stage in front of 1,000 people and talk. And so when you find a guy who can do that, even if behind closed doors he's a total asshole and he's incompetent, if he's willing to take the hits and then also do that, and you can't find somebody to replace him, you got to keep him. So from my perspective, you see that all the time, not just in the military, but in the business world a lot, man. I'm sure you've seen it before, where you've met somewhere along the lines in your career where you met a guy, and maybe he was the CEO of a company or something like that, and you're like, this guy's kind of a jerk off, but he just had those qualities.
Yeah, I think that probably happens a lot. Is because you're right. It's probably the same across all. It doesn't matter if it's religious or business or what. It's really somebody who has that charisma and confidence in what they're saying. Because usually, you notice a lot of times when people talk with confidence, they're rarely challenged. It's not to say they're never challenged, but it becomes you're challenged much less than somebody else is that may seem wishy-washy or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, if you're up there and you're just kind of, well, we might do it like this, or kind of do this and this, that opens the door for the predators and your audience to challenge you, you know?
Yeah.
And but if you're not doing that and you're just 100% sure of yourself, and if someone says something that interrupts you, and then you're just like confident, like, oh, excuse me, sir, just wait until I'm finished, please, you know, and you kind of put them in their place, like kind of sun them. And there's that quality can make you a very wealthy and successful person.
Yeah,
is that your phone doing that?
Yeah, I think it is. Sorry about that if it's coming through on the recording.
I don't think it is. I felt it on the table. It's been buzzing a little bit. But yeah, there was something else that I wanted to talk about that's happened in the last few weeks, because like we said earlier, we hadn't done a podcast. It's been at least 3 weeks, right, since we've done a podcast?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, since before Christmas, I guess.
I think did the Conor fight happen? Him and Eddie Alvarez on the last podcast we talked about. I think we did talk about that. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to overdo that because everybody's already read about it anyway. But man, just one thing on Conor McGregor though is there's a chance that he could be fighting Tyron Woodley for the 170-pound championship. And that's crazy, man. I don't know. Woodley's a huge guy, man, and he's a great fighter and a great wrestler. But if Conor did win that would be insane, man. That would be something to see, because that's like a once-in-a-lifetime achievement. Yeah. You've beaten the 3 best men in 3 divisions. That's crazy, man. Yeah. I don't think we'll ever see that again if he's able to do it and pull it off. But who knows, man. But what else has been going on?
Oh, man.
There was so much shit, like, because we haven't talked in so long. There were so many things I was thinking about. I was like, oh, dude, I can't wait to talk about that on the podcast, man.
Well, one thing, so John and I are talking about taking a trip.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up.
Yeah. So one of our goals on this trip, if we can pull it off from a technical perspective, is we're going to record a podcast, I think, while we're either A, driving, or B, when we get there. Yeah. Because we're looking somewhere, just kind of road trip, get out for a little bit, relax, kind of kind of a meditative type place, somewhere to kind of get some zen going. We haven't actually decided exactly where yet. We're thinking about possibly what was the name of Mount Magazine in Arkansas.
Yeah,
but I don't know. We're still kind of got that on the drawing board.
Yeah, that's as of right now anyway, because that's not going to be this coming up weekend, but the one after that.
Yeah.
So not a lot of time to plan for it, but I mean, we're guys. We don't really need time. You grab a couple of pairs of clothes and go.
Yeah, brown bag of shit and roll.
Yeah. But that's the one thing I do want to see, man, is mountains. And I was telling you this. We went to this place before we started the podcast today. That's by me, or it's by where I live. And it's street food, like tacos and stuff like that. And it was pretty good, man. We got what are they called? Tortas? The Mexican sandwiches and all that. Yeah, we were talking about it over the tortas that we ordered. And I want to go somewhere with mountains because the only time that I can remember, aside from maybe Big Bend National Park, I think those are mountains there, right?
Yeah.
Aside from that, though, is Yosemite National Park. And when I drove there, and I was by myself, and there was no cars in front of me or behind me. It was just me and this little shitty rental car driving through the mountains, dude, and I was like, this is crazy. I don't even feel like I'm on planet Earth anymore. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And so I was thinking, if we're going to go on a road trip, dude, let's go see some mountains. But the thing is we're going to leave Friday most likely, and we have to be back by Sunday evening sometime. So we don't have a lot of time. But so the only mountains that I think are within a reasonable distance of us, like, 10-ish hours or 12 hours maybe, is, what you just called it? What is it?
Yeah, Mount Magazine.
Yeah, Mount Magazine in Arkansas, and then in El Paso, whatever they're called. I don't know.
Well, if you get out there, by Big Bend. And that's a cool-ass place, too, man.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, that's the only thing, though. It's the drive, but also, and it's really beautiful out there. It kind of reminds me of like an old school cowboy movie where they're filming the scenery and shit like that. But I want to see more along the lines of like trees and that kind of thing in the mountains, not just everything is like that light tan brown color.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm more into the idea of going to Arkansas right now. But we talked about Louisiana, Mississippi, even maybe even just barely edging into Florida. It's just a realistic time because I think after 8-10 hours in the car, I think we're done, man.
Yeah. I mean, we want to have a little time to chill wherever we're at, too.
Yeah, I want at least like a full day with zero driving, other than maybe from the motel to the location, 20 miles at most. But, I want to do that so much, just kind of, because me and you haven't been on a legitimate road trip since we were probably teenagers, right? Yeah,
this is kind of a rare opportunity, so, I think we should take it while it's possible.
So it's safe to say it's been, I don't know, probably like 18 years since we've been on a road trip together.
Yeah, it's probably been a while. Yeah.
But even then, it was like about 5 hours at most, maybe 6.
Yeah.
As far as I can remember, but still fun. But this is going to be, like 10, 12, depending on where we go. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Hopefully by the next podcast, we'll have a much better idea of what we're doing. But
yeah, that's going to be fun too. Is we can try it in the car while we're driving, because we're probably going to hit stretches of highway where there's basically no one. We're just bullshitting and talking. Or we could do it at the motel. Who knows?
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, man.
Anything could happen.
Yeah, dude. It's going to be fun, man. So how much time do we have left?
Oh, we're at an hour, man. So.
Oh, are we? Yeah. We'll have to wrap it up here. All right, man. Well, that was fun to get back in here and do this again because it's been a while, and I can't wait to do it again next week.
Yeah. Well, thanks for following us, guys, and it's sorry it's been a few weeks since we got something posted. A little chaos in the life, but I think we're going to be back on track here now. Now we got this badass room and got a nice setup here. We're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, we should. It should be 3 episodes pretty much posted in one day, right?
Oh, sorry, I was getting the sheet here, but I'll go ahead and post those back episodes too. I just haven't had time to do all that lately, but that's something we'll definitely get up here in the next few days for sure.
Right on, man. So is this episode 19 or 20?
Man,
I can't remember.
We're in there. We're getting close to 20.
Yeah, because our first goal was like our first soft goal was 20 episodes. We definitely want to hit 100 at some point. And I know we will, but hitting 20, man, it's a tough thing to be able to meet up sometimes and get this done. But we always have fun when we do it. So we're almost there for 20. But anyway.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap this up. So, as always, you can check us out at jakeandjonshow.com, on Twitter and Facebook at Jake and Jon Show. If you want to leave us a voicemail, the number is 804-557-4691. That's 804-JJ-SHOW1. John, you got anything else you want to throw in there?
No, man, I think I'm good. My left eye is burning from that hot sauce on the torta. I just rubbed it, and it's starting to, feels like it's swelling up on the left side. But, yeah.
Better get that handled then.
Completely random. But, yes, I will see you guys next time.
All right, take it easy.